Good morning. Welcome to another week. We're gonna try something. I've already done this with you guys before. Nescafe Gold. And as besties, we retry things. We save money. We budget well. We're learning to budget well. So we're gonna be redoing that one. So I already have my water heated, but we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. But I'm gonna talk while I do this because I don't want my water to cool off because I need it. Okay, good. Because I don't want my water to cool off while I'm talking to you. So you're gonna hear some clacking. But hey girl, hey, welcome to another week. It's time to make some coffee together. I'm really excited because I was on TikTok and I saw this new recipe and it's maple bourbon vanilla latte. So I got the maple butter from Trader Joe's and bourbon vanilla bean paste. So basically you take your coffee, and the only reason I'm using my instant coffee today is because I need warm coffee, and y'all know how I feel about warm coffee. But here we go. So I got it all mixed up. And then we are going to add our other ingredients. I've never tried this, so we're gonna do a real live tasting with each other. Ooh, that smells good. Okay. Y'all see that? All right. I think the girl took about that much. Put that in there. And now we're gonna take the bourbon vanilla bean paste. And for all the saints, it is flavoring. There is no alcohol in this. Y'all gotta do better. And then oh, it's like that's so cool. Okay, I'm just gonna pour a little bit in there. All right, we're gonna mix all that together. Yeah, make sure I clean this off. It's like literal vanilla bean. Look at that. Oh, I love that for me. Okay, cool. Also, shout out to Darren and Vic who went and picked up all these ingredients the other day for me. I am loved. I just want to make sure it's all mixed in well together. Okay, it feels smooth. I already have my ice. I did forget to get my milk, so hold on. Planet Oat unsweetened vanilla. Let's pour this bad boy in. Decent amount of that. And here we go. Okay, now let's see what this is talking about, because the person who made this didn't add any sweetener whatsoever. So hold on. I put my straw. So mix it up. And I love that because y'all know I don't like adding sweetener to my coffee, so I'm really excited. So I'm hopeful that the maple butter is what does it. I've never had maple butter before. Wow. 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 Yeah, I'm gonna see y'all in the car. Okay, so I know that I told you guys that we were gonna chat in the car. That didn't happen. This morning, so much stuff was happening, moving really fast. So, yeah. I'm sitting on my floor in front of my TV space, but let's get comfortable, right? Because my whole house is a wreck and this is one place that's not a wreck. So yay, welcome home. I'm Petra. If you are new here, I'm so excited that you're here. If you're not new here, welcome back, girl. What's up? It is time for pretty good coffee. I am your faith bestie. That means that I have been called to live life with you well. We're going to talk all things Jesus, all things faith, all things well-being, wellness, whatever that looks like to you in this season of your life, but keeping God as the focus and the center. So I'm really, really excited. I'm also really excited because today is my anniversary. Yay. So we actually just finished service and Robbie's cooking. E is playing with Play-Doh. Sterls and Jack are doing their own thing. So if you hear movement around, that's what's happening. But yeah, it is officially 12 years that Rob and I have been married. And I am really, really, really thankful for our marriage, for our relationship, for the family that we built. And to share that with you all is also a blessing. But there was a scripture that the Lord led me to that I wanted to share with you, and it's in Leviticus. And not only do I think it applies to my marriage and how I handle it and how God has commissioned me to care for it, but I think more importantly, it applies to the way that we care for our relationship with Him. So we've already talked about the coffee. I tried a new thing from TikTok. The recipe was bomb. Go try it out. Go get the maple butter and the vanilla bean paste from Trader Joe's if you have one near you, or you can order it online, I'm sure. And then just use whatever coffee you want. I used the Nespresso instant coffee just because I wanted something warm to mix it with. And then, of course, I put it over ice and unsweetened vanilla oat milk. But you can use whatever coffee that you want. But you do need to make sure that you melt the butter, of course, because you don't want chunks of butter floating in your coffee because, what? It's disgusting. But anyways, so it was really good. I'm actually going to try some more later today. But right now, I am getting my water in, because we need that. Now let's talk about this word. Let's go to Leviticus. I'm going to go to Leviticus 5, and we are going to do let's do chapter 5, and let's do verse 8 and 9. And then we're going to jump down to verse 12 and 13. So Leviticus chapter 5, verses 8 and 9. And then we're going to jump down to verses 12 and 13. And this is the CSB, this is the CSB Bible. It's the Tony Evans Study Bible, okay? But it's the CSB version because y'all know that's my favorite. So here we go. Verse 8, the Lord spoke to Moses, command Aaron and his sons. This is the law of the burnt offering. The burnt offering itself must remain on the altar's hearth all night until morning while the fire of the altar is kept burning on it. Now let's jump to verse 12. The fire on the altar is to be kept burning. It must not go out. Every morning, the priest will burn wood on the fire. He is to arrange the burnt offering on the fire and burn the fat portions from the fellowship offerings on it. Fire must be kept burning on the altar continually. It must not go out. It must not go out. And I love that the Lord led me here. I sat down and I said, God, show me what you want me to talk about today. And this is what He led me to. And I'm going to do the first thing because I'm going to talk about our natural relationships. So those of us that are married or headed into this season of marriage or in covenant relationship, right? So even if you're not married, but you are in covenant relationship, you have friendships that are covenant. It's really important to understand that there is going to be a sacrifice that's made, and it has to honor God. And you have to constantly ensure that the fire is consuming it. You cannot lay the sacrifice down and pick it back up again. You cannot walk away from it and just assume that it is being consumed or that it has been accepted. You have to constantly check in on it and ensure that it is favorable, that it is pleasing, and that it is being consumed by the Holy Spirit. Because again, this is not just our relationships as in like our love relationships, like me and my husband, but also our covenant friendships, those things that God has called us into. There is a sacrifice attached to it, and it's a sacrifice of our flesh, it's a sacrifice of our ego, it's a sacrifice of our perceptions and our expectations, and centering it fully on pleasing God. Centering it fully on pleasing God. And so here you see where he's saying, this is the requirement. This is the requirement. And it is the law of the burnt offering. It, as in the burnt offering, must remain on the altar's hearth all night until morning, while the fire is kept burning on it. How many of us have had seasons where we felt like, you know what, God, I trust you, I surrender in this moment, and you give him a little time to work on it. And then when it seems like, you know what, he's not moving fast enough, the night is getting darker, the thing is getting heavier, we go back and we take it back. We take back the very thing that we laid down. And we say, God, you know what, I know that I talked to you about this. I know that I said I would trust you in this moment, but you know what, it's okay. I got it. But it clearly says here, you've got to leave it all night. You've got to leave it there. You can't pick it up, and you have to make sure that the fire is consistent. About our praise, our worship has to be consistent. We can't allow our fire, our passion for God to be dimmed because of the circumstance, because it feels like, well, we've released this, so what else do we have to do? Just because you've released the thing does not mean you have bowed in the thing, does not mean that you have become subservient in the thing, does not mean that you have fully turned yourself over to it to be consumed. We are the sacrifice, right? And so I love this because, again, as we transition from talking about just our natural relationships, we're talking about our relationship with God. It says the fire on the altar is to be kept burning. It must not go out. Every morning, the priest will burn wood on the fire. He is to arrange the burnt offering on the fire and burn the fat portions from the fellowship offerings on it. Fire must be kept burning on the altar continually. It must not go out. How many of us have started with our fast, with our consecration time, with our reading time, and it's been like, oh, this is good, and then we kind of be like, okay, that's enough, or okay, we're gonna try again tomorrow, but then we kind of sleep in a little bit, or we don't take the break during lunch when the Lord is saying, hey, put down the food, just focus on reading my word today or praying to me today. We just stay up a little bit longer, spend a little bit more time with me when your household goes down to sleep. How many of us have just had this moment where, God, I'm done, it's cool, like what else do we need to do? We have good relationship, God, everything is good. But this literally says the fire must not go out. There can never be a time where the flames begin to go low, where we begin to focus on other things, where we miss the moment to add wood, where we miss the moment to add passion, where we miss the moment to up our praise, where we miss the moment to up the ante with our worship. It can never get dim. It can never go down, because it ensures the full consumption of the sacrifice. Because our focus is on him. Our focus is on making sure that the sacrifice is pleasing and fully received by him. But if we're too focused on our natural things, the things that distract us from him, pull us away from him, the requirement of being the priest of ourselves, the requirement of that, to show up, to ensure that the wood is added, to ensure that the offering has not been moved. We'll miss that because we'll be too focused on other tasks in front of us. We'll be too focused on saying, okay, God, well, I got this to do, this and this and this. But this is the requirement. And a lot of people like to say, well, this is the Old Testament, it doesn't apply. The sacrifice of animals no longer applies, but the sacrifice of ourselves, it does apply. It does. The only way that we'll see the Father in peace is through his Son, not through ourselves, not through our good works, not through our natural natures, right? So that means there has to be a sacrifice. The word also says that we have to die daily to ourselves. We have to bring our minds under subjection. This is multiple times in the word where we're being told you're going to sacrifice yourself. You're going to release yourself from yourself. And you have to do it on a consistent and continual basis. The fire cannot go out. That means that you have to do the work of reading. You have to do the work of study, which is two different things. You have to do the work of fasting. You have to do the work of consecration, which is two different things. You have to do the work of remaining in the process of sanctification. You have to do all of these things and ensure that you're also in covenant relationship with people that are also pursuing the same things, so that you're always on your post. And not only are you always on it, but you're always encouraged to be on it, right? Because this was actually given, the Lord spoke to Moses, command Aaron and his sons. It wasn't just one person. It was multiple people, so that multiple people would get the word so that they could all be in one accord. We need to hold each other up to be accountable to a standard that the Lord has set before us. The fire cannot go out. The fire cannot go out. And we're literally entering this last quarter. We're here. And a lot of us are like, well, Lord, since you didn't do it in the beginning, I don't know if it's going to get done. Or we begin to get this hectic pace. And so we begin to rush through things. But that's not what the Lord says. He was very, very clear, right? He said, just make sure that the sacrifice has remained on the altar. Make sure that you're continuously adding the wood to keep the fire going, and continuing to monitor that the sacrifice is consumed. He didn't say to speed up. He didn't say that you had to do it outside of the sacrifice. He literally said it's to be kept burning. It must not go out. You don't have to rush to and fro. It doesn't say that. It says every morning you're to burn wood on this fire. Every time that you wake up, every time that you open your eyes, every time that your spirit wakes up, because I want to do that too, because sometimes we'll say, well, I prayed in the morning, or I read the word in the morning. But when the Lord begins to quicken your spirit throughout the day, that's you waking up. Your spirit is being tapped and said, wake up, girl, wake up. Then at that moment, you need to be adding wood. You need to be adding praise. You need to be adding worship. You need to be studying. You need to be reading. You need to be taking a moment and saying, God, I thank you. And God, I honor you. Show me what you want in this moment. You've woken me up right here. What is it that I need to add? What is the wood? What is the wood that I need to add? But there's no hurry there. There is no hurry there, right? And it says that he's to arrange the burnt offering on the fire and burn the fat portions from the fellowship offerings, the community offerings. What is it? What are the deposits in your relationship? What is the offerings that you guys are bringing together to the altar? Right? The people that you're in communion with, the people that you are in covenant with, the people that you are doing life with, right? There is a fellowship offering there. Your relationship should constantly be pushing you towards Christ, should constantly be pushing you towards getting the fat to offer to him. God, I've learned this thing. God, I've seen this thing. I want to offer it back to you. God, I've gained this thing. I want to offer it back to you. That's important. It says the fire must be kept burning on the altar continually. It must not go out. You know, I would say that one of the best things about my marriage, my relationship with my husband, is that he is constantly studying, he's constantly praying, he's constantly reading, he's constantly seeking God about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And he supports me in my personal pursuit of the same thing. So that when we come to the table and we talk about, okay, what are our faith goals? What is the direction that the Lord has for us? We're on the same page. Right. And so if one has gotten revelationary, the other one can confirm or affirm, right? That one can also bring deeper revelation to the other one, right? Like those are things that are really important. So when you're talking about seeking the Lord for covenant relationships, be it friendship or marriage, ask the Lord for the ones who will do the fellowship offerings with you. Will they have something to put on the altar? Will they be willing to put something on the altar? And not only will they be willing to put something on the altar, but will they be willing to do the work of keeping the fire continually fed? It takes a sacrifice to keep the fire continually fed. You won't be able to get tired in this season. There's a release that the Lord wants to do, but it requires our sacrifice and it requires our maintenance. Remember what I told you guys a little bit earlier? The Lord is not just looking for people that are fire starters. He's looking for people that are sustainers. Will you sustain the fire? The only way to sustain the fire is if you have the oil or the wood. That is the only way. Wait, you're not dressed. You can't come on camera. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm going to do because I don't want her to come on without all her clothes on. No. You want to say hi? Say hi. Hi. Okay, thank y'all so much for joining us this week. Wait. No. Okay, hopefully y'all can't see anything. So hold Leviticus 5 verses 8 and 9 and 12 and 13 in your hearts. I want you guys to meditate on that and bless the Lord for that and the revelation that you've gotten. I want you to share in the comments. Hold on. She's getting upset because her dad is calling her because he don't want her on camera like that. But I want y'all to hold that in your heart. But I also want you to go ahead and register for All the Things Experience. I want you to register for All Things Experience. It's happening October 19th. October 19th. I almost forgot the date there. October 19th, we're going to come together, an intimate group of women, and we are going to pray and intercede before God. We're going to worship before God, and we're also going to get baptized together. I'm so excited. My really good friend, Pastor Shamika Natio, is going to be facilitating our baptisms. And listen, whether you've been baptized before or not before, this is an opportunity to declare before God's people that you seek relationship with Him. It's okay. So I want you to go ahead and register at Hey Pretty Life. At Hey Pretty Life. It's okay. At heyprettylife.com for the All the Things Experience. We're gonna have to close the registration soon because we gotta be done with this. We gotta move on. We got food prepared for you. We're gonna have a gift for you. So we do need to know who all is going to be there. So we're gonna ask that you go ahead and register. Excuse me. We're gonna close the registrations. By October 10th. We are closing the registration for All the Things Experience by October 10th. And that's only if we haven't sold out, because we honestly only have a few seats left, but we want to give you guys an opportunity. We literally only have, it's like literally a handful. It's a handful of them. So those, if they're not sold by October 10th, we're closing them regardless on October 10th. And also go ahead and register for the Hey Pretty Conference happening in West Palm Beach, January 31st and February 1st next year at heyprettylife.com. It is going to be an incredible experience with other women of faith, other men of faith, teens of faith. We're going to have a men's track, a teens track. Listen, the Lord has called us to something, and I want to make sure that we're focused on all things God alone. All things God alone. And so we're going to worship in that place. We're going to take territory in His name because God has decreed and declared that it belongs to Him. But He's commissioned us into that place. And so I want us to get ready. So be on honestly, be on the lookout for the Lord to do something between now and then. Be on the lookout for the Lord to do something between now and then. Go to heyprettylife.com to register. There's afterpay options for both. And and Bible study is coming in January. All the Things Bible study is going to be happening in January. So that registration, of course, that Bible study is free. We'll be doing it in person again. We started the year in Bible study in 2024, and I want to do it again in 2025. So just be on the lookout for that registration coming soon. So if you haven't, go ahead and register for all the things coming up and the Hey Pretty Conference. And I'll see you next week, pretty. Bye.